What's up, guys? Got a video for you today on the Fiberbuilt grass mat. This is going to be the first of multiple videos on hitting mats and hitting strips. So if you're not already subscribed, go ahead and do that so you don't miss any others if you're interested in a new hitting mat for your simulator. So the Fiberbuilt grass mat is super popular. It's well known for injury prevention, and I've had this one for almost a year, I think, and we're going to go over that today. So let's get started. This one that I have here is actually the Fiberbuilt traditional mat. So it's not the studio mat that has the extra section for a launch monitor on the side. Originally, I was kind of concerned about spacing, knowing that I needed to have an offset from the center of the screen. So I thought that the slightly smaller mat would be a little bit safer for me. In retrospect, I could have done the big one, and I should have. The difference was only like $50, but I've been using it for about 9 months. So this one, it's basically 3 components. It's got this rubber tray that holds everything together, and then it's got the stance mat and the hitting strip. And so if I pull this up, you can see everything just falls within this rubber tray, and this is that super heavy, thick rubber. So that thing alone is really hard to push around the garage. I wouldn't want to move it regularly. I think when it shipped, it was rolled up and strapped, like banded together. It's that super thick, heavy rubber. And then this is the stance mat. It's got a layer of foam underneath, the turf, which is glued together in one piece. It's perfect for what it is. A little bit soft. You can hit off of it. You can chip off of it, which we'll talk about in a little bit. And then there is the hitting strip itself, which is kind of the main point. And the Fiberbuilt grass is super unique. There's really nothing else like it. So you can just pick it up. If I can get my fingers under it. There we go. And I'll bring it forward here. So it is basically in this plastic and metal tray with bristles. So instead of a turf, this is just a bunch of bristles. I've heard people describe it as a upside down broom, which is pretty accurate. As you can see. And it's, like I said, nothing on this is really light. Everything is heavy duty. Looks like aluminum on the side there and built to last. So this just inserts into that rubber tray, as I mentioned, and it holds still. You can see barely. I usually like to hit right next to where this T is, and you can see slight discoloration there, but not much different than the rest of the mat. So Fiberbuilt supposedly has a 300,000 swing guarantee. I have no idea how they know how many swings you've had on it, but they obviously know that it's going to last a long time for you. So, and I don't see why it wouldn't. It's got 4 holes down the side that you can use their Fiberbuilt rubber tees, which you can pull up and extend up when you're using them. You can push them down whenever you're using like a smaller fairway wood or something, if you want, and that just stays there all the time. Mine did not come with that, which I was a little disappointed in, being, $1,000 mat plus. I would have thought that they would have thrown a tee in there. I don't know if mine didn't get them by mistake or if they just don't ship them with it. Either way, I bought a pack of 2 on Amazon, I think for $20, but it's actually held up well. I thought that those rubber tees like that would break pretty quickly, but it really hasn't. So this is obviously designed for injury prevention, which is a big deal. A lot of mats, especially cheaper ones, can cause a lot of pain in your lead arm, in the elbow, wrist, even the shoulder, I've heard. And I was victim to it myself with my first mat. It only took, I don't know, 30, 45 days, and I developed a really bad tennis elbow, tendonitis in this arm, and that stuff lingers on for forever, which is why I switched to this about a year ago. And the way it works, those bristles allow a golf ball to sit on it, which is a kind of a semi-solid surface. But whenever you hit down on it, obviously the club head can just kind of glide through. And there's really no vibration or impact with the mat at all in the club head. You can feel it, the resistance, but it's, you know, bristles. There's really no impact. So I would say for sure that I agree with it being a fantastic option for injury prevention. One question you might have is, you know, can I putt on it? If you're using simulator software or whatnot, the answer is it depends on your launch monitor. So with the Foresight launch monitors or the Bushnell that use a camera and they just look at the impact zone right here, absolutely it works just fine. You know, it's only looking right here. I would say that the golf ball does not act 100% normal like it would on a solid surface. And it, you know, it may not be the most accurate, but I can say that I really could tell no difference using it on GS Pro. I did not think that any of my readings were off, and it was pretty easy. One thing that I didn't like about putting on it is that whenever you ground your putter, you know, it kind of wobbles a little bit on these bristles, as opposed to a solid surface. You ground it and, you know, it's solid. I just feel it's just a little bit of a wiggle there. That's just something to get used to, and I kind of just would hover my putter a little bit more than I normally would on the course or on any other mat. One thing I do not like about the Fiberbuilt grass, and that is kind of the chipping and short game. As you can imagine, with a full swing, you are, you know, pretty much just hitting through it. But whenever you get to chip, it is a little bit different. You don't get the impact that you would off the ground or the turf, where you can kind of use the bounce of the club. I would say it would be kind of similar to chipping with the ball teed up slightly, which is just kind of not how it works in real life. You know, it's fine for playing, but again, depending on your launch monitor, you can definitely just pull the ball forward and chip off of the stance mat. Hopefully better than that. But depending on the position of your launch monitor, if it will read from there. And as far as the actual full swing on the grass, a lot of people have described it very different ways. I would say that it does kind of feel like the ball is teed up. I would say that it kind of feels like the ball is sitting up high in some light rough. You can feel the bristles as your club head goes through it, but you know, it's just not completely realistic. And I don't think any golf mat is. But that was not their aim with this mat, I don't believe. And they even say that if you're looking for a more realistic mat, that you should go with the Fiberbuilt Player Preferred, which I also tested and will be releasing a video on in the near future. So overall, the time that I've had it, it did not bother me. Obviously, did not bother me as far as my tennis elbow and tendonitis. You know, it really wasn't a problem for that. But as far as the realistic feelings, you know, it didn't bother me. I played and practiced all the time. The short game, like I said, the chipping, you know, not 100%, but there can be a workaround for that depending on your launch monitor. And that's about it for the feel. Now, you may have to consider with your mat how it's going to fit into your simulator environment. I mentioned launch monitor a bunch of times. Depending on the launch monitor you have, you especially may need to line up your flooring with the exact height of this grass strip to be able to putt all the way down to the screen. I'm talking about Mevo Plus owners. You really need a level surface all the way to the screen if you want to try and use putting. And this mat is about 2 inches high. So that can be a little bit of an issue. As you can see right here, I've got the launch monitor sitting up on 2 1-inch foam tiles. And then the rest of this here I already had in front of the mat is 1-inch foam, just one layer of 1-inch foam. So you would have to double up on 1-inch material, and then with this mat as well, there's kind of a little bit of a gap, which I will show you. Right here, the rubber kind of dips down lower, so you're going to have something that will fill that gap. So I guess my point is that there are probably some challenges with getting this to line up with the rest of your flooring if that's something that you need. Hopefully that is a pretty good description of this mat. You know, obviously designed for injury prevention. I mentioned before, if you're looking for something more realistic, you may want to check out the Fiberbuilt Player Preferred, which I will be releasing a video on soon. And I also found in testing 7 different options in total that there are some good options, I think, that really would also be good for injury prevention. I can't imagine them causing any injuries that are a little bit more of a traditional option rather than the bristles. So stay tuned for some more videos on that. Guys, again, I appreciate subscribing, and if you're going to be making a purchase, please check out the links in the description. I will earn a commission if you use one of those links, and that would be greatly appreciated because this mat series has been a lot of work, and this stuff has been taking up space in my garage for quite a while now. So I would really appreciate that. Other than that, hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, please leave a comment, and I will do my best to answer if I can. And we will see you next time. Thanks.